In this presentation, we will discuss about energy flow diagram to the Earth. It means how solar energy or solar radiation is reaching the Earth's surface and how it is distributed to the surroundings by reflection, by scattering, etc. So before discussing about this energy flow, what is energy? We know an ability to do work is called energy. Of course, there is a number of definitions for the energy. One more definition may be written as the capacity to do work is called energy. It is nothing but, for example, two persons having different capacities. It is having different energies. One person can do work up to 8 hours. And one more person can do work up to 4 hours only. So the ability to do work is the first person is more. So it contains more energy. So what are the units? Every physical quantity we can measure in some units. So there is, we know there is SI system of units, MKS system of units, CGS system of units, FPS system of units. By using different systems, we can measure in different units. In SI system of units, the unit of energy is joule. And in CGS system of units, the units of energy is erg. And the relation between joule and erg is 1 joule is equal to 10 to the power 7 erg. Of course, in MKS system of units, we can write Newton meter is the unit of energy, because energy is a part of work. When work is equal to force into displacement, force units are Newton, displacement is meter. So that a Newton meter is the units of the energy we may write in MKS system of units. So from this, we can write that 10 to the power, say this is erg and joule. From this one, erg is equal to 10 to the power minus 7 erg. Of course, this is one more unit, that is British German unit. In most of the some of the foreign countries, mainly European countries, we using this unit for measurement of energy. That is British German unit. One British German unit, that is 1 BTU, is equal to 1055.05 joule. We know in daily we are using electricity in our residential purpose, maybe commercial purpose, or maybe transportation purpose. This electricity can measure in the form of units. What is this unit? How much energy is consumed? Then it is called 1 unit. So we know 1 unit is equal to 1 kilowatt hour, kWh. What is this kilowatt hour? So how much time it will take to grasp 1 unit of power in our domestic purpose? So 1 kilo is nothing but 1,000. 1,000 may be written as 10 into 100. So we know 10 is not a 100-watt bulb. That 10 into 100. That is 100-watt bulb can be utilized for 10 hours continuously. It will is equal to 1 unit. So 10-watt bulb continuously glows for the time of 10 hours. It consumes 1 unit of power. Of course, nowadays we are not using this 100-watt bulb because it is efficiency is less. Nowadays we are tubeless with a 40-watt capacity. So then with 40-watt capacity power, it contains 25 hours are required for getting 1 unit. Nowadays, of course, LED bulbs we are using with the 10-watt bulb. But 10-watt bulb is nothing but when we are using 10-watt bulb continuously for 100 hours, it consumes only 1 unit. So when we know 1 kilo is equal to 1,000 and 1 joule, the watt is nothing but joule per second, and hour is equal to 3,600 second. So after multiplying 36 into 10 to the power 5 joule is equal to 1 unit. Of course, calorie is the one of the unit to measure the energy, and that is 1 calorie is equal to 1.482 joule. What is power? The rate of doing work is called power. Of course, not only that, there is a number of definitions we have to understand the power. That is the rate of consumption of energy is also called power. And of course, the work doing per 1 second is also called power. So power is completely different from energy. So for example, two persons are there. One person can do work more time, but he can do for a time period of 2 hours. He makes something 2000 joule of work. And at the same time, one more person can do it by doing the same time, maybe 5000 joule of work. So the second person can do by the same time more work, so his power is more. So power represents the speed of doing work. Power represents the speed of doing work. So the power can be written as work by time or maybe energy by time. That is in some of the books, maybe right, P is equal to the work is very small or time is very small. P is equal to dW by dt, P is equal to dE by dt, where W is work and E is energy. What are the units of this power? We know what is the units of the power in SI system of units. What is the name of the scientist? He done a number of experiments on power. And of course, energy units is joule. Time units are second, so joule per second is also units of power. So we may use joule per second is also unit for the power. And what is how many types of energies we have? Of course, daily we are utilizing a number of energies, different types of energies. One of the energy is mechanical energy. What is this mechanical energy? We know from mechanics, we will discuss that. The mechanical energy is the sum of the kinetic energy and potential energy. So that mechanical energy contains kinetic energy and potential energy. And thermal energy. So by utilizing this heat energy or heat, we can use energy that is called thermal energy. And of course, nuclear energy, we know some of the radioactive elements, that is uranium, thorium, protactinium, plutonium, etc. By the nuclear fission reaction, they will divide it into two nuclei and also produce high much of energy. So this energy is called nuclear energy. By using this nuclear energy, nowadays we are producing a high electricity. And fourth one is wind energy. We know due to the difference in temperatures at different places of the Earth's surface, wind, it means air will move from higher temperature region into the lower temperature, high pressure region into the low pressure region. So this causes the wind. So is that wind having some kinetic energy, that is called wind energy. And solar energy, nowadays it is very famous energy, because due to the nuclear energy and coal, petroleum products are very less. It is consuming day by day. Now we are all depending on solar energy, that is sun energy, which is coming from the sun. So by using the solar energy, nowadays we are producing electricity at a more rate. And the sixth one is hydro energy, is nothing but we know by using the water, we can produce electricity at hydro power projects. And the seventh one is biomass energy, is nothing but biomass, that is agriculture based, maybe as animal dung. And by using these materials, we can produce energy, is called biomass energy. And of course, this is electrical energy. This is not the fundamental energy. This electrical energy is produced by using different methods, maybe hydro, water or hydrological cycle, hydro energy, maybe by using the solar energy, by using the nuclear energy. So this is electrical energy. Nowadays, all the people completely is depending on this electrical energy. And the ninth one is magnetic energy. We know there is a force of attraction between unlike the poles of the magnets. and there is a repulsive force between like force. Due to this force between those poles, we can produce energy is called magnetic energy. And some of the energy is ocean energy. This ocean energy due to the difference in temperature between surface of the ocean and depth of the ocean. Due to this difference in temperature, you can produce energy. These are the different types of energies. Of course, energy sources also different types we have, depending on this character and depending on their properties. These energy sources classified into two types. One is conventional energy sources or non-conventional renewable energy resources. And second one is non-conventional energy resources or renewable energy resources. What is this conventional energy sources? We know nowadays coal, fuel, and petroleum products and gas, when we are using daily, its quantity is decreasing. Its quantity is decreasing by the consumption. This type of energy sources are called conventional energy sources or non-renewable energy sources. So that energy sources which are decreasing in quantity after using it are called conventional energy sources or non-renewable energy sources. So of course examples are coal, petroleum products, that is petrol, diesel, kerosene, natural gas, radioactive substances, and non-commercial sources, that is wood, etc. The conventional energy sources. What is this non-conventional energy resources? Of course, this is also called renewable energy resources. We know some of the resources, when even though we are using or even though we are consuming, its quantity does not change. For example, solar radiation, the sun energy, when we are using daily, there is no decrease in its energy quantity. So solar energy is a renewable energy resource. And also wind energy, even though by using wind energy, we are producing electricity, the quantity of the wind does not decrease. So these sources are called non-conventional energy sources or renewable energy sources. So energy sources which did not change in quantity after using it is called non-conventional energy source or renewable energy sources. Of course, examples are solar energy, wind energy, ocean energy are the some of the examples of these non-conventional energy sources. Now we will discuss what is this energy flow diagram to the earth. Energy flow is nothing but how much quantity of energy is coming from the sun, that is solar radiation, how it is distributed to the surroundings or maybe to the space by reflection, by diffraction, maybe scattering, etc. Juvia, this is the sun, this is the earth surface, these are the maybe plantation, maybe mountains, maybe it's ocean. This radiation is incident on the earth. Some of the radiation is absorbed by the atmosphere by using the dust particles, oxygen molecules, water vapor. And some of the radiation is absorbed by the earth surface, maybe plants on the surface. And some of the radiation is absorbed by the clouds. Of course, on the clouds, some of the radiation is reflected back and some of the radiation is reflected on the surface. And of course, some of the radiation is emitted by the clouds. It means after complete absorption of these radiation, after equilibrium position, it emitted the energy radiation that is emitted by the clouds. And of course, some of the radiation is emitted by the water vapor and carbon dioxide. So how it is distributed, we will discuss now. You see here, the atmosphere on the earth is depending on the amount of incoming energy from the sun. If the incoming energy from the sun is very less, that day is very cold. If the incoming energy from the sun is more, that day is very hot, we know. So depending on that quantity of sun energy, that is solar energy, the earth atmosphere depends. If the earth energy explains that if the incoming radiation from the sun is equal to outgoing radiation from the earth are equal, then the atmosphere is in equilibrium. If the earth energy explains that if the incoming radiation is equal to outgoing radiation, then the atmosphere is in equilibrium. It is nothing but there is no changes in temperatures abruptly on the earth's surface. Of course, this must be done through the phenomena of this nothing but this radiation, maybe scattering, reflection, absorption, and energy transformation. So the energy distribution is totally depending on these phenomena such as scattering, reflection, absorption, and energy transformation. Of course, energy flow or energy from the sun is incident on earth utilized in different ways. Of course, this solar energy, when it is incident on the earth surface, it is totally utilized in different ways. Of course, the majority of the earth that the earth receives from the sun, and only very fraction of the energy is coming from the other sources. It is nothing but more than 99.7% of the energy is received by the earth is from the sun energy. Only 0.03% is other than the sun energy, that may be geothermal energy or nuclear energy or ocean energy, etc. Of course, from the total energy delivered to the earth, that is how much? 174,000 trillion watt. The total sun energy delivered to the only earth surface is 174,000 trillion watt of energy power. Of course, in which nearly 70% of the energy reached the earth surface. That is 120,000 trillion watt reach the earth surface and comes down and warm the atmosphere. If there is no energy is coming from the sun, the atmosphere is very, very cold. Due to this energy, the atmosphere is in warmth. Of course, the portion of this energy is absorbed by the greenhouse gases and its temperature increases. We know the radiation is incident on this earth surface. The atmosphere, there is some greenhouse gases, we know carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, nitric oxide, sulfur dioxide, absorb this solar radiation and keep the temperature increases of the atmosphere. After the absorption of these gases, radiate thermal energy back out in all directions. Approximately 78.3 trillion watt of energy are used to keep the atmosphere warm. It is nothing but in this stored energy, 78.3 trillion watt of energy used to keep the atmosphere warm. What about remaining energy? That remaining energy will be utilized for different purposes. We will discuss later. Of course, this result average temperature staying at 15 degrees Celsius on the earth surface. Of course, we may in our area the temperature, room temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. In summer, outside the room temperature may be 45 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius. What is 50? Because we know at the poles the temperature may be minus. At the poles the temperature may be minus, so that the average temperature on the earth's surface is nearly 15 degrees Celsius. Of course, approximately 23% of the total energy, that is 40,000 trillion watt, is used to evaporate water. We know the radiation is incident on the surface of the earth. These oceans and the rivers and the lakes and the tanks will absorb the solar energy. And thereafter it evaporates into the earth's surface. Of course, and runs the hydrological cycle. We know this water vapor cools down and formed as rain. Of course, here liquid water molecules absorbs energy in the form of latent heat. But it is nothing but why it is using latent heat? Because the sun energy is absorbed by the water and converted into the vapor. So that liquid state into the gaseous state. So it is absorbed heat energy in the form of latent heat. Of course, these work per molecules again condense and creating rain, snow, and mist. We know that vapor is going upwards and by cool down, and it is creating the rain and the snow and of course mist. This allows hydrological power, of course, hydroelectrical power to capture energy of which human use 1 trillion watt. Of course, by using this water, we are producing electricity. That is called hydroelectric power, whose energy is 1 trillion watt. 1 trillion watt. Of course, nearly 1%, that is 17,000 trillion watt, is used for the energy of wind and oceans. Nearly 1%, that is 17,000 trillion watt, is used for the energy of wind and oceans, ocean currents. This moves air and water all over the planet. A very small amount of total energy, that is 0.08% only. That is 140 trillion watt is used by the photosynthesis. We know there's a solar energy or sun radiation is incident on the greenery plants. It absorbs the solar radiation. And of course, it is utilizing the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. They will produce food fodder to the plantations. This phenomena is called photosynthesis. Of course, this photosynthesis allows plants to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and produces energy used to the power of the life. These plants and animals after die, because we know there is some lifespan for all the plants and animals. After dying, they become fossil fuels due to the high temperature and high pressure in the earth crust. Not only sun energy or solar energy flow, the nuclear fuel contributes to the overall the energy on the earth. Around 1 trillion watt of nuclear fuel used by the human being. We know not only solar energy, some of the nuclear fuels, that is uranium, thorium, plutonium. These are all containing the earth crust. By using this, we are producing a power nearly 1 trillion watt. Of course, one more energy other than the solar energy, that is geothermal flow. What is geothermal flow? We know the temperature on the earth surface is very much high at the inner side of the earth surface. Due to this difference in temperature, we can produce some energy. So the geothermal flow is another energy that does not originate from the sun. Of course, the geothermal energy coming to the earth's crust is roughly 44 trillion watt, or nearly 0.025%. The rest of the power that does not come from the sun is nearly 3 trillion watt, coming from the tidal forces acting between Earth and the moon. We know there is some force of attraction, or the gravitational force of attraction between sun and the moon, and of course sun and earth also. This earth and moon, due to this attractive force between earth and moon, there is some tides are exerted on the ocean. By using these tides also, we can produce energy that is called tidal forces. So this is the energy flow diagram to the earth. Thank you.